Welcome back to Gold Derby. I'm Christopher Rosen. I'm joined by Joyce. Joyce, if it's a Sunday night in January, we're talking about the Critics' Choice Awards, I guess.
That I didn't even see. And now I'm at my friend's house doing this. That's how committed I am to this. I brought my
Really,
computer over here to do
this
this
is
with you at like 10:30 at night on a Sunday, on a long weekend when
on a
we have
holiday weekend. Yeah, a holiday weekend. Boy, you know what? Gotta find a better way to watch this show. I had to buy YouTube TV to watch the CW,
because
Joyce.
you cut the cord.
I cut the cord and I couldn't find a streamer of it. But anyway, I signed up. I already canceled it. YouTube TV, though, if they want to hook me up, they can if they're watching. The Critics' Choice Awards, what a show. Chelsea Handler
You
hosted.
gotta tell me about it because I just saw some snippets on Twitter, some of the jokes. So
Chelsea Handler mentioned her ex-boy. It was is Joe Coy a comic and her ex? Is that right? I don't even know this for real. Is that really? Did they date? Is that a thing?
I don't know. Who knows? I don't know.
But she mentioned Joe Coy's Globes thing by saying, if you like that joke, my writers did it.
But up, mom.
Oppenheimer was
I
the big
hear I hear
story.
that went over very well in the
It
room.
did. The room it was tough to tell what was actually going on well in the room, honestly, because they're in an airplane hangar, which multiple people mentioned. And
Yeah,
then
that's where it always is. So.
and it was so loud, and coming out of break you would just hear just people just shouting basically as they're trying to do pre-scripted patter into whatever award they were doing.
And then they're eating their saltines. It's like charcuterie boxes.
It looked like that.
With
Paul
like
Giamatti called it bagged pizza.
well, he is on his way to In-N-Out right now. You know that. So
He said he wanted a as he won best actor, which was maybe a surprise over Cillian Murphy as Oppenheimer dominated. Not really a surprise though. He was like, this is the best thing that happened to me since I went viral with my burger, and I hope I get an In-N-Out sponsorship, basically. Like, and asked also about the food. Uh Oppenheimer was the big winner, Joyce. 8 awards. Best picture, best director, best ensemble, bunch of crafts, best visual effects. She can't even win at the Oscars.
but we both of us predicted that. We're
We
like, they're
did.
gonna give it to Oppie visual effects.
You know,
Yeah.
it's funny. Barbie won 6, including best comedy, and also best original screenplay. I remember you actually literally saying, like, I wonder if they'll just give it to Barbie to like show that they're right and the Oscars are wrong. And I think we have to like remember that for next year. That not only does this group want to stamp the Oscars, but they also want to like show that they're actually better than the Oscars.
Well, it's that, and also like they didn't nominate the Golden Globe winner, Anatomy of a Fall,
True.
and they have two categories, obviously. So it's like they could do whatever they want in original screenplay too. And we know Barbie was her favorite because they gave it 18 nominations. So, but once again, they did not announce the screenplay categories on air. And I know this because people tweet the winners. And once I see a tweet with like 5 categories, I'm like, that was a bumper announcement.
There was a lot of bumper announcements for film, and it was a lot of Oppenheimer and Barbie winning in those bumpers. Then my favorite part of the show, I would say, other than some of the speeches, which we'll talk about, was towards the end. At least people who were watching it, I would say, noticed that Barbie is $1 billion movie, had 18 nominations, and literally did not win a single televised award outside of the See Her Award for America Ferrera,
It's not a win. That
which
was
is not a win.
she received it.
She received it, and so no one really got to go up there. It won best song too, but no, Greta and Margot, nobody's going up there to like give a speech on behalf of Barbie. And so Chelsea Handler came out of break and quote went rogue, she said, and happened to call them up to accept the best comedy award.
Happen.
How many times are we going to watch this? Literally after last week, Barbie won the new Golden Globes award for making a lot of money. How many times is Barbie going to win a Best Picture award that's not really Best Picture, and that they're going to get them to go up and like give a nice speech? Can it happen? How many more times is it going to happen before the?
Well, it can't happen. Well, I guess like if they win stunt ensemble at SAG, because they give that out on the red carpet, you know?
Or it could win Best Ensemble at SAG, I guess.
No, but like that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like if because you're saying it's not winning
I
it's
don't
not
think it
winning the
will.
prize.
So
So if it's gonna win like stunt ensemble and they can't give a speech on air, then they gotta get them on air somehow during on Netflix, you know. So they have time, Netflix. They're not
They do.
constrained by 2 hours, like TNT was.
I wonder if the Oscars will come up with some way to get them to do something, a special dispensation award or something. I don't know.
I mean, this is just reaffirming my stance that it's shaping up to be another Black Panther. So
So
it
I
could get these nominated. It'll get more nominations than
yeah
Black Panther,
yeah.
but it's gonna have trouble winning stuff.
It won a lot. It won production design tonight, I think, and it won hair and makeup, which it's actually not eligible to win. Talk about a bad night, a couple of bad nights, I would say. This does the caveat, the headline here being this has no impact on the Oscars because none of these people are voting for the Oscars, so it's not an industry honor. That said, I think it's good indicative of maybe the speeches and the show, and everyone is there. I could not believe how many people were there. All the famos.
It's usually well attended every year because like it's in the middle of like all this other stuff. So like people who fly in and who don't live in LA, they just spend the week here.
Right. And
So
also, I guess this year we're especially lucky because the movies have so many famous people, right? All the big movies are like Oppenheimer and Barbie, and it's like all major talented A-list stars are in these movies that are all at these events, all at the tables. I just pictured Leo. Leo is there, and I just can't believe he had to sit there and get selfied to death by the group. It's just like God Almighty, he must be just dying inside.
he he arrived late, I understand.
Huh?
So yeah, his whole Killers of the Flower Moon campaign is basically to support Lily. Like
Right.
he's done more press basically than I've seen him like in recent times.
Yes.
And it's always by Lily's side.
And
Like he did the red carpet last week at the Globes with Lily and did interviews with Lily. He did the Vanity Fair like anatomy of a
mhm.
scene thing with Lily. The Vogue cover over the summer with Lily. So
uh And yet, after all that, Lily doesn't win the Critics' Choice Award. Emma Stone does. And basically a replay. This reminds me so much of last year, where Kate Blanchett won for Tar over Michelle Yeoh, who many people were expecting to win because she was the critics' favorite or the film Twitter's favorite. And then Kate won, and rather famously or infamously, maybe put her foot in her mouth by being like, awards are stupid and this doesn't matter. And also, Andrea Riseborough should win an Oscar, basically.
yeah, but
And
Emma Stone did not mention Ingenue Ellis Taylor in her speech.
she did not mention Aunjanue Ellis Taylor, but she did immediately appear very grateful and like gracious toward the other members of her category, including Lily, who she was like, I can't believe I actually won. And I honestly think Emma Stone was surprised to win because like everyone I think expected, maybe not everyone, but I had certainly expected Lily Gladstone to win based on how much film Twitter and critics in general love her and love Flower Moon. And of course, then it ends up with 0 awards. So they really loved
It's
it.
like another Marty, Gangs of New York and Irishman, but at Critics' Choice Awards, not the Oscars yet. But I guess like it is surprising, but not because I mean, Emma's performance is great, and a lot of people, people in Critics'
Yeah,
Choice like do love the performance too. So the win itself, not totally shocking, and also remember she didn't win for La La Land at
right.
Critics' Choice because that year they moved their ceremony to December, so it preceded the Globes. It was in December 2016, and at that point, Natalie Portman was still the Oscar frontrunner for Jackie, so they gave it to Natalie Portman. And then who went on to lose the Globe in drama to Isabelle Huppert. So she quickly went to like third place in
Right.
that race. So it's almost like a make good for Emma Stone too by Critics' Choice.
I guess I'll be curious. Like, I still fully expect Lily to win SAG, but I mean, obviously, I think Emma. This was like I think this is like a visibility wise a great win for Emma, and her speech was awesome, and everybody really loves her, and like she's like had a high approval rating it seems, and
I
certainly in
mean,
the
remember
room.
we talked about the rapturous explosion of applause last week at the Globes when she won. So
And so now she's won a Globe and she's won here. I still think, like I said, Lily wins SAG, but I mean Emma probably could win BAFTA, right? I mean, like that seems
BAFTA could definitely go to her or Sandra. So um yeah, but I want different winners, as you know. So I'm happy with this so far, even though it's not really different since they both won Globes. So it's like one of them is still on track to sweep.
yeah. And Yeah, I'll be very curious about that. Otherwise, and the other acting winner we mentioned here was Paul Giamatti won Best Actor over Cillian Murphy. I expected that. I predicted that. I
Yeah,
thought
that's
like
not surprising at all. Like we talked about this. And then I picked Killian just to be different from you, and that was like our one difference in
yes,
like
is the
our
one
prediction.
one we got wrong. I think one we flipped on.
But no, like that's not shocking at all because like so many like film Twitter people and so many people in the group just love the holdovers and love Paul Giamatti.
Yes,
And then also with Oppenheimer winning ensemble, they can take care of Killian that way too.
right. And so Paul wins, gives another amazing speech. I just feel like he is just a heat-seeking missile for that Best Actor Oscar at this point. I think he'll win SAG, and
I
then
mean, that would be great if like they just keep splitting. Like he can win SAG and Killian can
Killian
win
can win
BAFTA.
BAFTA,
Yeah,
and then
like
I think Paul
that's
wins
more
the Oscar.
exciting because the
Right.
supporting races are blocked basically.
And Downey and Devontae Randolph both won. Another great speech for Downey. He mentioned all the bad reviews he had gotten, Joyce, which is always a winner. I feel like critics love that. They love being told how stupid they are
Yeah,
by
and then
famous
most
people.
people in this group aren't critics anyway, so
No,
you know it's like
when
even more interesting.
Christopher Nolan won Best Director, and he was like, "I'd like to thank the Critics Circle." I was like, "You got the wrong speech, buddy. That was 2 weeks ago at the New York Film Critics Circle dinner." But then he had another great speech. I thought Nolan's was pretty good, but it just made me laugh when he called it the Critics
This
Circle.
is are they even still called the BFCA? I don't even know.
I think it's the Critics' Choice Association. That was what a couple of people
Yeah, it's
said.
like they've been renamed because like 20 years ago it was still the BFCA. So, but yeah, like supporting like him and Davine, like done.
Those are sweepers now. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's it. And then, I mean, I guess we could have a BAFTA split. Maybe Downey doesn't win BAFTA. You know, we've seen that before, where like even like Kia Kwan didn't win BAFTA. But I think Devine and Downey are solid. And then, like we said, Emma, and that was a good one. And then everything else was pretty much as expected. I don't know. The film side was like,
Well, I mean, yeah, like we talked, like Barbie winning original screenplay can win that at the Oscars, but
right.
again, they didn't nominate Anatomy of a Fall. So, and then they gave adapted to American Fiction, which we both had because we're like, they would
And
do this.
I'm more and more certain that that'll actually probably. I think that could win an Oscar. I really do. I don't think
But I
Oppenheimer
mean,
has
like
the
that's
winner.
basically like its only chance to win an Oscar.
Let me ask you this: once we got Barbie in that category at the Oscars, do you, is there a world where Flower Moon gets snubbed in screenplay and like All the Strangers
You
makes it
asked
in?
this last week.
I think it does. I'm about ready to predict that personally, but we'll see. Uh,
I mean, I don't think Killers is gonna win screen.
no,
So, um, I don't, I don't know. I think you can make cases for most of the scripts there. So, like, Oppie can win in like a full sweep if they just really go all in on the film. If you still, I mean, like last year, the TIFF stat broke with Fablemans. Like the TIFF winner did not win an Oscar, but maybe it could resume with
right,
American
right.
Fiction. I don't know.
Uh,
So, like, Poor Things is right early, and it could
or
be a makeup because of
yeah,
the favorite losing to Green
yep.
Book, but I don't think they care about that either. So,
Oppenheimer won cinematography. Barbie won production design. Oppenheimer won editing. Barbie won costume design. Barbie won hair and makeup over Maestro, which just got blanked. The biggest L's of the night were Bradley and Maestro again, and the joke writers who said Ariana DeBose was
oh
an
my
actor who tries to sing
God,
and
her
not
face.
a singer. Poor Bella Ramsey and Anthony Ramos, who was in Hamilton with Ariana DeBose, delivering this joke to a dumbfounded Ariana DeBose, and then everyone on Twitter being like, "I can't blame the actors. You got to blame the writers." I'm like, but their rehearsals probably. I don't think they just did that cold read.
They they gave them the script.
I mean, it's all in good fun, but like comparing Aaron DeBose, who's a real singer, to Jack Black and Ryan Gosling is a diss. That's a hashtag diss, Joyce.
Um, she did the thing, so
Uh, Visual effects went to Oppenheimer, which can't win the Oscar and wasn't even shortlisted, and hair and makeup Barbie, which can't win the Oscar, wasn't on that category shortlisted. So that's fun. The Critics' Choice flexing their muscles.
well, like we talked about last week, like these were fine categories for them to like do their own thing in because it's below the line, so
Right,
like they could take a stance
right.
here. So
They didn't nominate Godzilla and visual effects. I feel like if the nominations were like a week later, they would have, and I bet you it would have won. That was my
They could
takeaway.
have Force Awakens it, so
Uh, Barbie won Best Comedy, like we mentioned, and then they gave a speech towards the end of the show. Very nice speech. I love Margot Robbie and Greta. They're great. Good comedy duo. Animated feature was Spider-Verse. Foreign language film was Anatomy of Fall. Best song, I'm Just Ken over What Was I Made For?
um I mean, I don't really have a preference between either of them. I guess like just Ken feels more apt because I do like songs that are, I mean, they're both part of the film, but like this one is like narratively
Yeah.
part of the film, you know?
I, I mean, I love to see it. Ryan Gosling had a great reaction shot. I don't know if you saw that,
It
Joyce,
was
on the
amazing.
memes. Great
Of
meme.
course I saw it all over Twitter.
A great meme. Just like, what the fuck? And I guess I could see that. If it won, I think it would be a fantastic winner. Personally, I think it's the better song, but I just don't imagine a world where Billie Eilish would lose when she won for her Bond song that was not great.
Yeah,
Pop.
it's like if Billy had not, they shouldn't have given it to Billy for that, a song I still haven't heard.
Right.
And then now it would, like, this would be a deserving win for her, for What Was I Made For, you know?
It would be
So,
funny if Gosling wins. I'm just Ken, and it would be also funny if Gosling is the only
but
acting in
like
the
he's
movie.
not, he didn't write it, so he doesn't.
I know. He doesn't get the Oscar, but I'm just saying, like, it'd be funny if the Barbie movie only wins I'm Just Ken as a song, and Gosling is the only actor represented at the Oscars from the movie, which is very possible. Uh, what else happened? We mentioned America Ferrera won the See Her Award, Joyce.
She received it.
She
She was
received it.
chosen a month ago.
Chosen.
She received it. There's no, it's not
Not a
competitive.
win. It's not a win. But a lot of people were very, very pleased with her speech. And I saw a lot of tweets being like, great time for the speech as Oscar voting is happening.
Sure. Um, I think she took a hit missing SAG, which like she should have really shown up there. But
Disappointed that she didn't make
good for
sense.
her for getting the chance to deliver the speech
Yeah.
and in front of these people in the middle of voting. So
I, I don't think it hurts. I'll just say this.
no, it doesn't hurt at all. But I think again, what hurt was missing SAG.
I'll say this. I don't think I'm going to predict her, but if she got nominated, I would say, like, I'm not surprised. And I might end up predicting her, but I don't know if I will. I had her in.
I'm shocked you didn't move her in after her speech
I probably could get on the website. No.
because you.
What else? That was, I mean,
Well, Harrison Ford got the Career Achievement Award, right?
he got the Career Achievement Award, and James Mangold gave it out. A lovely speech. They ran a great package with Harrison's all his movies, and then they cut back to Harrison and Callista Flockhart, and it was all very touching. But my wife and I were watching a case, and she was like, Callista Flockhart's reaction was like, "Hey, you made a lot of good movies. Like, look at all those movies you did." Like, that was her reaction.
They've been married for like almost 22 years, and she just realized.
Wow, you were in Working Girl? That's awesome. Good for you. It was a great moment. Love Harrison Ford. And then Q Kwan came out to give out another award. I don't even know what TV award he was giving out. And he was super excited that he was like there with Harrison.
Well, when is he not excited? I saw he gave a shout out to his Loki family.
He did.
So great. And then one award they gave out on the red carpet pre-show, just like last year, young actor or actress.
Dominic Sessa.
Another holdovers win.
So 3 actors won from the holdovers, all won an award.
Not screenplay. So
not screenplay. That one's so I had the holdovers winning screenplay. I should have known better, I guess. If it was Alexander Payne, it would have just won. I'm telling you, that's going to be like the thing that holds it back.
So then Greta and Noah would have won nothing.
Yes. They would have won that comedy award. They would have gotten up and had this great moment.
But they don't actually win that award.
I don't know.
That's
who knows?
like,
I'll tell you this: when Quiz Lady, we'll get to the TV. Quiz Lady won TV movie Joyce, and
yes,
they bring out great movie, right? Loved it. And they bring out Sandra Oh and Aquafina, and they go, "We just won an award." I'm like, "Did you though? You're the actors. Are they the producers?"
Well, no, that's fine because like they're just saying collectively like our movie, but like they don't get the actual trophy unless you're a producer.
You might be right, but they made it sound like they were getting that trophy. So
I mean, they could just print another one for them. Like, who's keeping track?
I don't know if anybody is. That's what I mean. Who knows who gets these awards, and especially when they're made up. Like so, what else? So that was the movie side. I don't know. Like I said, like I was waiting to see like which speeches maybe somebody ate it. I thought Emma Stone did a great job with her surprising speech. Again, it doesn't have any. It just doesn't have any bearing on this stuff beyond like the what it feels like in the room. I guess I don't know. Nothing that happened there. I felt like will change the race though.
No, like I think even though there were quote unquote like upsets, if you're going by odds or whatever, but they're not like anything shocking really. And again, it's not industry. So it's just, like another, it doesn't hurt to win, of course,
No,
but it's not a death knell either if you lose.
no.
Oh.
I I will say the only like for movies like for Bradley and for Mike, if Bradley would have won, that would have been a great. I think like defibrillation, like a jump start.
I mean, I feel like that would have just been more of them like kind of giving it to Oppenheimer in visual effects, but it's just kind of apparent that best actor is between two people and neither of them is named Bradley Cooper.
Tough beat.
So, but I do, like I said last week, I think had Bradley won the Globe, he would have won this.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
I guess on the TV side we can go, Joyce. I got annihilated in my picks. Not that anybody cares, but I was like, well, Matthew McFadden will definitely win for Succession, obviously, and then I think the Last of Us duo of Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal in their acting categories. Somehow Matthew lost to Billy Crudup, who I God love him so much, but like holy shit. And
I just
then
want to say before you go any further, Critics' Choice has never awarded Matthew McFadden for his performance as Tom Zalomskans on Succession. That's all. That's all.
they only had 4 seasons, Joyce.
Yeah. Just
Maybe
no,
if it was
no need to give him at least one win. No.
maybe season 5. Got to give Billy Crudup another one for a great scenery chewing performance as a lead actor on
But again, I guess we shouldn't have been surprised because remember, Morning Show got more nominations
6.
for that shit.
And then obviously Sarah Snook and Kieran Culkin both won the acting awards, and I was like, well, I got all of those wrong, so I got just annihilated.
Yeah, because you went all in on Last of Us. I had Pedro, but the fact that like Pedro couldn't even beat Kieran here, and then Kieran gave the only speech I've seen so far is Kieran's, of course.
He was good, great. He talked about pulling out his
You
ear.
never know what's gonna come out of his mouth. So
I gotta say, as an older man now, I was like, oh, I get that you're. I knew exactly what he's talking about. I was like, I get a lot of. I always like try to trim it off. I don't pull it off because I think that would hurt. That was his speech, but I was like, or his wife and Sarah Snook were pulling it off, and I'm like, I'm like Kieran Culkin, just stars. They're just like
I
us,
know.
Joyce.
Well, his wife before the show, she was like Instagramming them in her stories of them getting ready. Oh God, it's great.
I don't know where we are in terms of like when we've already published our Emmys thing, and if people are watching this and they're like, Chris, what have you done with your Emmys picks? I'll just say whatever I said in that episode is bullshit, and I went back to Kieran and Sarah for my picks at the Emmys. Like,
but you did it before tonight.
I did it before tonight, but I'm just reiterating tonight that I'm just gonna go down with them because this is so stupid to think The Last of Us is gonna win. I think for some reason, I don't know, and I also might go to just The Bear in comedy series. I'm like this close to just going full Bear sweep instead of Ted. The Bear won comedy series. It won Best Actress for Io. It won Best Supporting Actor for Evan, and it won Best Actor for Jeremy Allen White. Good.
Expected. I don't know. I nothing to say. I know. And Meryl Streep won supporting actress.
Yes,
So
over Cheryl Lee Ralph. Who I
yeah,
had.
who you had, right?
Yeah.
Although I am thinking for the Emmys of doing Cheryl Lee Ralph instead of Io and going to Evan for supporting actor. Just switching my second Bear acting win.
I was thinking of going Cheryl and then Brett, but now I'm like, maybe I'll go to Evan because, like, why not? The thing I will say is again with the Bear and the Emmys were voted on literally months ago, so it has no bearing on anything that'll happen on Monday night. But I was just like, man, everyone loves that show. Like, you could just tell the crowd like loves that show, and obviously Ted wasn't nominated here very much at all. So
Yeah,
Did
it was not in series. Did it have like any? Did it have an acting
I'm
nomination?
actually looking. Let me see. And
Did it? I don't even.
yeah, Phil was
Oh, of
nominated,
course, yeah, the best part of season 3. So
and that was it.
yeah, I mean,
So
it was the correct choice. So um, yeah. So I don't know if I will go to the Baron series. I mean, I guess I could. If I go to the Baron series, I also have to change directing. So then I will have the Bear winning
sweet.
series, actor, supporting actor, writing and directing.
Yes. For the first season, not the
For the
great
first
second
season.
season.
Yeah, but season 2 was out. So I also feel like because I made the Forks is the next Rainbow
You
comp,
gotta do it.
I gotta see it through with Evan.
I,
Like
I
I've been
would love
saying,
to see Eben win. And maybe I'll just do that. I guess the reason I'd be pulling back on here's how Eben wins basically is that like I do think the Ted guys would vote split because like you're right, Phil is the MVP, but people still love Brett and he was awesome too. And then James is not really a factor, I don't think, in reality. And then it's Eben is basically going to win at that means. So maybe you're right. Maybe I should just do it too, but I don't know if I will. I'll let you have it, and then I'll have Brett like an idiot.
you've been like riding hard for Brett like all
I
throughout season
did.
3.
I'll just keep him up there. I might just put him and Cheryl and leave it, and then put the
I
Bear
mean,
in
he could
series.
easily three-peat because like people or like the Emmys especially love him, and he just got into SAG
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, I'll probably do Brett and Cheryl, and then the Bear though in series. I actually think the Bear will win series now. I don't know. People love it. What other winners were there? Let's see. Hang on. I got
Well, Beef basically swept,
yeah,
except for Jonathan Bailey.
yeah,
Um,
because Young wasn't
why
nominated there somehow. This is what I think. We'll see this tomorrow night. I'm predicting that sweep. The four actors will win, and the series, and then I have it writing and directing. I just have it all now. That's it. Just everything. A full Beef sweep. Uh, yeah, Maria Bella won here, and Allie and Steven won. I mean, what's there to say about Beef? Good show.
it's gonna win Emmys tomorrow, so that's
Are you
all.
more? Is it the most like? What's more like? If you had to rank like of the most obvious Emmy wins, is Beef or is it Succession series? Beef, right? I
I
think
think
actually Beef.
Succession has tougher competition.
Yeah, I really think
Um, Beef has like no competition.
like Beef is actually going to just. I would say like I would bet so all my like a real just a lot on Beef. It just seems like insurmountable that it would like
Like I
lose.
think Beef has competition in supporting categories because
Yeah.
it is very much a two-hander with like Steven and Allie. So I think they're set. I think series is set and writing, directing, and then directing you just have to choose one episode.
Mhm.
Basically, you can overcome, a vote split with one other episode. It doesn't have three. And yeah, so like the supporting categories will be tougher for it to win, but I think everyone is at least predicting series, both leads and writing and directing for it. So
Just remarkable. Elizabeth Debicki won, like we said, for supporting actress. Billy Crudup, hilarious. And Succession won. It was great. Jesse was there. Everyone was there. Just all these. Nicholas Braun was there. He did a thing, and then they came up on
yeah, and Fury
stage.
mentioned him like twice in the speech.
Yeah, he was like he was all over the place, Nick Braun, and they kept showing him during Kieran's speech, which I was like, okay, that's
Well,
fine.
because he kept getting shouted out, so gotta show him.
Uh, yeah, tough to. The best, my favorite line of the whole thing was Christopher Nolan when he was giving his speech. Uh, let me see. It was who did he shout out? Oh, Kai Bird, right? Who was a co-writer of Oppenheimer or American Prometheus, which Oppenheimer is based on. And Christopher Nolan's like, I'm standing on the shoulders of greatness, and Kai Bird and the other writer who I'm losing, I forget who actually wrote it. Let me see. Oh, Martin Sherwin, who has died apparently, sadly. And he was like, Kai, if you're watching, if you're a Pulitzer Prize winning writer watching the CW on Sunday night, I hope I'd like you to know. And I just thought that was a funny joke. That's like, who's watching this on the CW?
Emma probably just, filmed his speech and just texted it to him. So
Probably. I'm trying to think who else was anything else notable in this from this show.
um I don't know. You're the one who watched it, so you tell me. So
Not
what are the
much.
winners
I
for
mean,
like John Oliver won,
yeah,
John Mulaney,
that was in the break. A lot of those were in the break.
yeah,
Baby J won in the break. Nothing doing.
Scott Pilgrim.
in the break. Yeah, I don't know. That was it. That's it. We're done. Critics' Choice are over. Uh, no impact on the Emmys.
So
And
you've made no changes to the Emmys or the Oscars based on this in the last hour.
no, in the last hour, I've not made changes. I did make changes after the PGA Awards were announced on Friday, though.
The nominations, you mean?
Yes. And I added well, the PGA went 10 for 10 for us at least. Because American Anatomy of a Fall and Zone of Interest were in there instead of like The Color Purple and
Shocking. Shocking.
Spider-Verse. So if they're getting into the PGA, like the chances are
PGA, who
very
is
good.
usually historically averse to international films and have nominated things like Deadpool
And
and
so
Wonder
then,
Woman. So
right. And so then I went back into the acting categories and I was like, well, what's going to happen here? And I guess I made some changes there. But we could talk about that maybe while we're doing our BAFTA picks, Joyce, because we're going to do those. I don't know when we're going to ever talk about these again. Obviously, we will, but we're not going to do like
well,
post nominations.
yeah, because BAFTA nominations are Thursday,
Right.
which is when we'll have our final Oscar predictions.
Can't
So
wait.
we'll talk about the BAFTA nominations next Tuesday after the Oscar nominations.
I will say, like, the BAFTA nominations might have a slight impact on my Oscar picks, but we'll still do the final picks. I'm going to
I
like,
mean, it's like half popular vote and half jury
right.
picks.
So it's
So
tough to have like a real impact, but we can predict 10 categories, Joyce.
yeah.
So best film, there's 5 nominees. Now, how
Mhm.
does this work? I explain for
It's all popular vote here.
this is just popular vote
Yes. It's basically only directing
in
and
the acting.
acting categories have juries.
So since it's the popular vote, I've got Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Flower Moon, Anatomy of Fall, and Barbie.
So yeah, I have Oppie, Barbie, Killers, Poor Things, Anatomy of a Fall. I am considering dropping Barbie
Yes,
or Zone of Interest.
I have Barbie in last of the 5. I don't think it's going to be that strong at BAFTA, and yet
It kind of reminds me of Top Gun Maverick.
a little bit. But it was also like, this is so stupid. But I was like, it was a real British production, Joyce. So I was like, maybe
Filmed there, they filmed in England.
filmed it there. A lot of British people in the cast and probably in the crew. I don't know. I was like, and I also think it's really it obviously is very popular. And so since it's the whole group, I'm just like, I don't know. I think it can make it in.
Yeah, and I chose because I did these before PGA.
Yeah.
So I chose Anatomy then because I felt that had more broad appeal
Yeah.
than Zone.
Yes.
So, but I can definitely see both of them getting in at the expense of one of the consensus films.
I think it would be Barbie if it was any of the other ones. The other ones all feel really like so BAFTA-y to me.
And also just like too big
Yeah.
to miss. So
For best director, so the top 2 are in, and then there's 4 juries, or is it 3?
it's top 2.
So top 2 get in, and then the rest are jury picks.
Yes.
So with that in mind, this is what I came up with. Christopher Nolan, Martin Scorsese, Yorgos Lanthimos, Justine Triet, Jonathan Glazer, and Celine Song. Apologies to Greta Gerwig, who I think we'll miss.
So I have Nolan and Marty as the top 2.
Yes.
And then my other 4 are Justine Triet, Glazer, Celine Song, and Molly Manning Walker for How to Have Sex.
A great deep cut there.
I feel like there'll be like one just like British thing, and that was big over there. So
What about Andrew Haig?
I thought about him, and then I just didn't do it. So I could totally see him being part of the
A
4.
jury save. I think Yorgos would be a jury save because I think they love. I'm just expecting them to love the movie. I think he'll get in on like the love of the movie.
I don't know. I think if it were top 3, he would be top 3.
Yes. Well, that's why I think so, because he wouldn't be top 3. I still think like even if you were like, oh, if he's your favorite of the remaining 10 or whatever this is, 15, 20, why would you put him in there then as a jury save? I don't know.
Well, it's just like at the discretion of the jury, like a
Right.
different jury might
Maybe that jury was not
like
into
it's
it.
different juries for these categories, so I don't know. You're just at the mercy of them. You don't know what they're gonna do.
So neither one of us have Greta in. I think people will make like a big-ish deal about it. I still actually think she'll get in at the Oscars. I don't know. I'm not ready to punt her out.
Oh, I don't have her in at Oscars.
You took her out. You never had her in.
I've had her in. I've had her in and out. But now I have her out after after PGA. I think I'm gonna
Double
lock
can.
my Justine and John.
You'll have Justine and John, and then Yorgos, Nolan, and
Yeah,
Scorsese.
because as you know, I already dropped Alexander Payne, whom I've had in since
Right.
March.
Right. I think Greta will get
Felt
in.
like the DGA 5 were so obvious, and then I was like, I don't know if they're gonna copy paste this.
No, I don't think they will. And I actually still think it'll be Glazer. I have Glazer in. Um, for actress, so this is top 3 and then 3.
Yes.
If you're following along at home. I have Lily Gladstone, Emma Stone, and Sandra Huller, and then I have Greta Lee, Carey Mulligan, and Mia McKenna Bruce for How to Have Sex.
So I have Lily, Emma, Sandra, Greta, Mia, and Vivian Apara for Ryan Lane, which was also big over there.
So you don't have Carey.
No.
Could see it. Feels like it's on life support.
I don't think she's top 3. I think Lily, Emma, and Sandra are top 3.
And
So
you don't
then
think she'd be a jury save, yeah.
no, and I also thought about Fantasia, and then I just went with Vivian. So
Could happen. Carrie's definitely on the cusp there. I still think she might be a jury save because I just keep going back to like even people who don't like the movie love her so much that I just think that
yeah,
enthusiasm
and
might be
like
present.
she got in last year for She Said, and she was a winner for 5 seconds.
Yes.
Great moment.
For best actor, Joyce, same rules apply. Top 3 and then 3. I've got Killian, Andrew Scott, Paul Giamatti, Bradley Cooper, Jeffrey Wright, and Teo Yu.
I have Killian, Leo, Bradley, Andrew, Teo, and Jeffrey. This
Wow,
is a
so no
very
Paul.
no.
I I am not buying Leo still. I'm not buying that. I don't think he
I
would be
don't
top
like
3.
it's like, well, so what do you think he was for Don't Look Up? Like, do you think he was a popular vote, like, or a jury pick? Because like he doesn't like a jury would not save someone like him, you know what I mean?
I what else was nominated that year? I think he was top 3 that year, but I also think it was a more
Well, that
likable
was because like
performance.
everyone thought like it was well that was top 2. So back because remember it used to be all jury and then top 2 and now top 3 because like
Okay,
they want to be more matchy with the Oscars.
sure.
So eventually it'll be top 4. Um, but that was like Will Smith and Benedict Cumberbatch. So
Oh,
because people thought like top 2 would be Will Smith and Benedict.
right.
But anyway, I mean like Killers has a lot of appearances on the long lists, so like it's a big movie, it's a top movie. So and then because the long lists are determined with the top or for acting is the top 7 of the popular vote. So I think he was top 7 for sure.
Right.
And then 3 jury picks from 8 to 15 to make up the top 10 of the long list. And then for the nomination phase, the top 3 of the popular vote automatically get in.
Mhm.
So like he's like Leo. He
Yeah,
could like that. This is what I'm debating because I'm like, I think Killian is like top 3 no matter what. And then I'm like, are the other spots like Leo or Bradley or Andrew? Because I could also see Andrew being top 3.
I think Andrew's like right after Killian. I would say he's top 2. And I think that I put Bradley top 3, and I don't think Leo would be a jury pick. I think Paul would be a
Yeah,
jury
like I
pick.
don't think Leo like if me having Leo is like him being top 3.
Right.
Like
And
it's he's not a jury pick.
right. And I don't think I think he would be not top three. I think Andrew's top three, and I think Bradley would still be top three.
And then see, the thing is, like, I think Andrew would be in no matter what, whether or not, because I
Sure.
think that's important. I think like even if Andrew is not top three, I think he would be a jury pick. Whereas like
Absolutely.
Theo is not top three, he would not be a jury pick.
Right. I understand. So
So
I think he would be not a jury pick, and I think he'd not be top three. Though I will say I could see Bradley missing two, and I could
yeah,
see
me
like
too. Like this is like
Barry. I could see Barry being in there. I actually think Barry could get in for Saltburn.
and then I was like, I thought about like Coleman too.
He could very easily get in, I think, for a jury
So
seat.
this was like very hard. This was very hard for me because I knew I was always gonna have Killian and Andrew.
Yeah. I guess I could see Teo missing, but like I don't know. He made the long list. I don't know. I think he'd get in. I think he'd be a jury save.
I know. And then I'm like, I don't like I think Paul is top seven. And like holdovers actually did pretty well, like on the long list,
I
but like, they don't like BAFTA historically have not been big on Alexander Payne films.
no, and it's a very
So,
American story, but I actually think he'd be a jury save at this point because of like his stature.
like
And so I don't know. That'll be a fun one. I really would love to see Barry get in. And maybe I'll drop Bradley for Barry before this is done. Just to
as a
be
top three.
I think Barry could be top three.
I don't know. I might change this before Thursday
They
because
loved Saltburn, and they're right to.
I don't know like how these other four slots are gonna play out, but
Uh, for supporting actress, Joyce, same kind of rules apply, right? Like three and then three,
yes, all acting. It's
three
the
and
same.
three. So this is a nutty one. I didn't really know what to do here. I got
Are you still deciding right now? What's happening?
no. I here's what I did. This is stupid, but here's what I did. I have Devondre Randolph, Rosamund Pike, Claire Foy, Cara Jane Myers, Danielle Brooks, and Sandra Huller, and I left off Emily Blunt because I don't think she'd be top three, and I don't think she'd be a jury save.
Okay. I have Davine, Emily, Rosamund, Danielle, Sandra, and Kara. I think Emily will be top three just because Oppie is so big.
No Claire for you then.
No.
So I thought Claire would be top three, and I think Rosamund would be top three.
I think top three is Davine, Emily, and Rosamund.
Okay. So I thought it would be Davine, Rosamund, and Claire. And then I was like, Cara, Danielle, and Sandra would be jury saves over Emily. I could also see Sandra being top three.
I feel like she is top three in actress, but I can see her just being a jury safe here. I was debating between her and Claire as my last jury spot, and I chose her.
What if America Ferrera gets in
And
as
then
a
you're
jury save?
gonna put her in your Oscar
I would
pick.
absolutely put her on my Oscar pick if she
But
gets in here.
she would be a jury pick.
She would be a jury pick, but I think she can make it in.
She'd
What
be a
if
jury
she did?
pick.
Uh, and then for supporting actor, rounding it out, I've got Downey, Gosling, De Niro, Dominic Sessa, Jamie Bell, and Mark Ruffalo.
I have Downey, Gosling, Ruffalo, Anthony Hopkins, Dominic Sessa, and Paul Mescal. So I don't have De Niro, but like based on Mark's SAG snub, I'm like, should I swap them? Like, what if De Niro's top three? I don't know, because I feel like Mark could be top three because Poor Things. I feel like the Brits would love Poor Things. I mean, William didn't make the long list. This is my problem with the Poor Things boys. Like they've been hitting places without the other, except for the Globes, but that was a field of six.
So I thought De Niro actually would be top three. And I thought Ruffalo would get in as a jury save because they love the movie and him. And then I have Jamie over Paul because I just don't think Paul is great in All the Strangers. I think Jamie Bell is like superior and actually makes you cry. And Paul might make you cry. I could see
I mean, I
people
guess I could just
emotional.
drop one of them to get De Niro in, but
You
I
could
don't
also put both of them in, right?
know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I could drop one of my jury picks to get De Niro in. But I don't know. you know. Because I could totally see him doing Anthony Hopkins.
I mean, I could see Anthony Hopkins. I could see Jacob Elordi for Saltburn.
I'm surprised you didn't do him.
I almost did, but I just
Rising
thought
star.
I had him in there, and then I put Ruffalo in after his SAG snub because I was like, I actually think now he's going to be a jury save here because he'd just be too. It's like, how is he not going to get any nominations for this? Basically,
Well, I think so. What's your top three? Gosling.
I think Downey, Gosling,
De
and De
Niro.
Niro actually could be top three.
Yeah, because I'm debating like who's my third top three, like Ruffalo or De Niro.
Right. I thought De Niro would actually be top three, and then I thought Dominic, Jamie, and Mark would be jury saves. If I had Ruffalo top three, I don't know that De Niro would be a jury save, and I think I would have maybe Jacob or Paul and do double All the Strangers. Though somehow I don't have All the Strangers getting in. Well, I guess it would get in for like best British film, right? Not best film, but
Um, yeah, like I don't know. I might just keep this and
I
just leave.
mean, I think Downey is going to win, so it doesn't really matter. But you know, uh,
This is not like 2 years ago when they basically copied my Oscar prediction lineup
mhm.
and I added like Woody Norman. So I could see this like being totally off like my all my jury picks here.
uh, for screenplay, original screenplay,
These are all just popular. Or
yeah, no jury. It's just the most popular. So I have the top five in the odds, but I actually think there's room here for like a one of these British movies that people love to get in here. But I'll do Anatomy of Fall, Holdover, Saltburn, Barbie, and Past Lives.
yeah, I have the same anatomy, past lives, holdovers, Barbie, Saltburn.
I do think How to Have Sex or Ride Lane could sneak in here as like a surprise and knock out probably Barbie or Past Lives or the Holdover. Maybe the Holdovers, which I have in second place, but I could see that missing here very easily.
I feel like they would get in if it was juried.
It would definitely get it was juried, but and then for adapted, I have the top five in the odds, which means it's Oppenheimer, Poor Things, Flower Moon, Zone of Interest, and All of Us Strangers.
Yes, same. So
American Fiction is in sixth. I guess I would put it in place of one of these, but it
yeah,
just
I don't. I mean, this is not shocking. It didn't really pop with them
yeah,
over there, so not. Yeah, I don't think it'll get in here. So I just have Jeffrey Wright as my American Fiction
right,
nomination, or he could totally miss, and then it gets nothing.
right. And then for casting, we could predict. I've got Oppenheimer, Flower Moon, All of Us Strangers, Saltburn, and How to Have Sex. I left Barbie out.
I have Oppie, Flower Moon, Anatomy of a Fall, How to Have Sex, and Scrapper.
Nice.
I don't. I it winner wise, I have no idea what they're looking for. Like Joker has one, Elvis has one.
Scrapper is a great one because there's a little kid in it.
Yes.
So I think Saltburn could get in because I just think it's like they like it.
I mean 11 mentions, so it could it's again still on track to become like Nocturnal Animals.
Yeah. Lone screenplay nominee Emerald Fennell incoming. Maybe cinematography nom too at the Oscars. And for animated feature, I have Boy and the Heron, Spider-Verse, Chicken Run, and Nimona.
I have the same.
Great. Can't wait. Nothing really to say there. I think Boy and the Heron will win. And those are our BAFTA picks, Joyce. We did it.
Yes. And can't wait to see what the jury comes up with. So
I'm excited also because there's going to be a lot of hand wringing online because people don't realize or really pay attention to the way it's
yeah,
done.
there's gonna be some like shocking snub.
Yeah, like if Emily Blunt or any of these big names that we were talking about get snubbed, people are gonna be like, "Holy shit, how did that happen?"
It's
Well,
like it's a snub, but also it's half juried. Like
it's like half a snub.
it's like it just happens when casuals are part of the mix, you
Yeah,
know.
but it just feels like there's more and more casual choice. That's what I'm
There
saying.
are, yeah, every year there's more casuals. So
Uh, we got a lot of emails, Joyce, we could do here before we ship off for the night. and go to
before
bed
the Emmys.
before tomorrow night's Emmys and our big Emmy celebration. Uh, this one came in before the PGA kind of put Zone of Interest firmly in the race for Best Picture, though we had it in anyway. But this one's from Patrick. Hi, Joyce and Chris. I hope you're both doing well. I appreciate you reading my last email a few months ago. I have a question for you, one awards related and one not. Sure. As we've seen, the supporting actress is a crowded and scrambling race for the last couple of nomination spots, and with the lack of preferential consensus outside of Devon Joy Randolph, I think almost every spot is up in the air. One of the performances that has yet to show up anywhere that I think will definitely show up at BAFTA, and I'm currently predicting in my 5th spot for the Oscars, is Sandra Huller for The Zone of Interest. The buzz on her career this year has been electric with the success of Anatomy of a Fall, and I think both the passion for her as an actress, along with the additional respect and passion I think Zone Interest will get from BAFTA and the Oscars, could push her into the 5 for the category. She'll be coattailing The Zone of Interest, likely Best Picture nominee, and the film has the potential in other categories: directing, cinematography, sound, score, production design, and adapted screenplay. So she would not likely be a sole acting nominee for the, or she would not likely be a sole nominee for the film. But I think the film will do well with the international voting block, and she has gotten some nominations for the film so far: European Film Awards, London Critics, Chicago Critics, Gotham Awards, etc. To where I see it being as likely a dark horse potential. What are your thoughts? Joyce, I know you're a quick adopter to this one, I feel like.
Double Oscar noms for Sandra, yeah, especially after PGA.
I have it in now too for double. I think this race is we talked about this, I think, certainly in real life and maybe on this and then this email. With Divine, I feel like she's gonna have everyone will have her number one. And so then there's a lot of room then for this to be just a wacky race. And so I think Sandra will get a lot of number twos probably and be able to get in, or enough number twos to get in, basically.
I haven't put her in yet because I have to drop someone to do that. And I haven't. Who did you drop?
I ended up dropping Jodie and Julianne
For
for
Sandra.
Sandra and Penelope.
Okay.
I'm just going with the most. I'm just like, these are the most passion. Like Penelope Cruz is a performance that will get a lot of passion. The movie, not great, not like a lot of like a wide contender. Let's say I thought it was a pretty good movie. She's awesome in it. Everyone agrees she's like the best part of the movie. And I think you leave the movie and you're like, I love Penelope Cruz. I think you like Jodie Foster and you like Julianne Moore, but I think they would be like much lower down on your list. I think even people who have them on their ballots would have Penelope higher and Divine higher. So that's why I dropped them both. And same with Sandra. So then I kept Emily also. Those are the 5.
Yeah, like I also want to find room for Penelope because she is like Willem Dafoe. She's powerful enough on her own to get like lone acting nominations, lone above the line nominations for a film, sometimes just her film's lone nomination. Like Vicky Cristina Barcelona, she was her film's only nomination and she won. So she can definitely do it with Ferrari, which can definitely get into sound. So she wouldn't be by herself either. So I think like SAG was huge for her because she's already performing better now than she did with Parallel Mothers because she missed everything, all the televised precursors for Parallel Mothers before the Oscars. So at least like now she has SAG, you know. So if I put like Sandra and Penelope in, I have to drop 2 people, so I don't know. Like I can't even decide like what one person I want to drop yet. But with Sandra, I think, yeah, like Davine, I think will monopolize a lot of the votes, and then it's like, you know, those ballots are done. So then like the threshold will be different for the remaining spots, right? And I think Emily is fine.
I
Because she has Oppenheimer.
I think she's
So,
fine, but
and then my only concern with Sandra is that like I feel like the PJ noms for Anatomy and Zone just really locked her into actress if anyone was still doubting her, which I never did. I've always had her. Um, so I think like that makes her more secure there, and it definitely gives her an uplift in supporting, but it's also not like the type of acting performance they usually go for. You
no.
know what I mean? So that's the only thing. I think she would definitely be just coattailing the strength of Zone, and it's not so much the the performance. I think she's really good in it, but that's just not really what they nominate
No,
usually, Like I think like Penelope's performance is something they like. It's very fiery, just like grief-stricken, like
right.
enraged. So yeah, but I could totally see it happening. Although, but she also would it would be so atypical too, because usually like the double acting nominees that we've had are like huge American stars, or like a big name like Kate Blanchett, right? Like most people don't know who Sandra
Sandra
is.
Hall. Yeah.
So
I one of the reasons another reason I went there, I just was like, I don't disagree with anything you said, but I just think she doesn't probably need a lot. I think there'll be a lot of people like the same with the movie. Like it doesn't need a lot of people, but I think the people who are very passionate about it will be like super passionate about it. And that'll help her push her over the top. Whereas I think with like Jodie and Julianne, those are great actors who have been better in other movies, but are great in their new movies that are fine. And the Academy maybe will like, the industry seemingly likes a little bit. But I'm like, I don't know if there are people who are going to be like so passionate about them, even if you like them. You probably have them 4 or 5.
I mean, like I can see like May December is probably not everyone's cup of tea, but and also that performance and just Gracie's the character itself, but like Jodie is incredibly likable in Naiad. Bonnie is a very likable
Yeah.
character,
And
sympathetic.
she's like a lead, like we said, co-lead.
So I don't know. I guess I still have a couple days to decide what I'll do there, but I can see Sandra getting in.
And then Patrick had another question, which was, this was the fun question. I'm curious what your favorite films and foreign was for the year. We kind of talked about that already, Patrick. But if you were an Oscar voter, what would you be on your ballot above the line? If Best Picture was a field of 5, what would you pick?
I don't know. Well, Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer, Barbie, for me.
I would do Oppie, May, December. Um, Anatomy of a Fall. I don't know. I feel like I'm forgetting a movie. Like,
I would probably do Oppie, Barbie. Even like this is funny. Like I would say like I wouldn't know if I would. I don't know if I would put Saltburn or like Air in there, even though those are like my favorites. But I think it was like I would say like Oppie, Barbie. I think Anatomy of Fall maybe for me too. Top 5. Probably Poor Things, and then
uh,
I don't know what the last one would be. Maybe Saltburn. Fuck it, just do it. Let's do it to be legends.
um, I'll just do Air. Why not? I don't
Love
care.
that so much.
I don't know. Like there's some like that I like a lot or I love, but I don't really think about, you know, like because I don't like do like these fake ballots, so I don't think
I
about it.
actually would, you know what? I revise. I would put American Fiction in there. I think that would be a very worthy 5 for me.
Oh yeah, I could do that too. Yeah. I see it like a movie I forgot about. So
Great movie. This one's from Xavier Joyce, who emailed us at slugfest@goldderby.com. Hi, Joyce and Chris. I hope that you're doing well. Long-time listener, first-time questioner. I'm wondering what you all think about Frances Fisher's new awards darling, Origin, and its chances for an Andrea Riseborough style upset in a category like lead actress. My gut instinct is that there is not much of a possibility, but then again, I thought the same thing about To Leslie last year, and we all know how that turned out. Could Frances Fisher's influence combined with Ava DuVernay, who's on the Academy Board of Governors, pretty public campaign regarding the movie's treatment by the industry this award season result in a nomination morning shocker?
you said you were gonna add her. Did you do it?
Joyce, I've added on Anjanae Ellis Taylor, my best actress field. I'm fully on board with this. Frances Fisher leading the charge with multiple people, including
Are you
Shiv.
are you just doing this because Andrea Riseborough got in last year? Is that your only reason?
Here's why I'm a little bit, because I would say it proved what we knew, I think, which is that you don't need a lot of support. You just need a lot of like a small amount of passion. We all expect Andrea Riseborough got in
You just
last
need
year.
like
We
200 number one votes.
200 number one votes. That's how she got in, right? Like
Or
that
even
might
like, probably even fewer than that because Michelle and Kate probably got a bunch of number ones. They're probably so far ahead.
so maybe even less. She didn't need a lot of top support, and she got it, and she got in. And I think, and we saw her last year where popular, famous actors in big movies, or not as big as Barbie, but like Woman King for Viola Davis, didn't get in because presumably that was like a lower ballot pick, like a 4 or 5. And so I'm just thinking the same thing could happen again, because I feel like that 5th spot is pretty vulnerable. I had Margot Robbie in there the whole time, the whole year. I think the other 4 are pretty set, including Carey Mulligan, because while, like we said, the movie's divisive, she is like the one constant that people really like. I think she's like the Michelle Williams of the Fablemans, right? Like she's just in.
She got the SAG nomination.
Got the SAG
You
nomination.
know
Yeah,
what? Leo could be the Michelle Williams this year.
he could. Uh, so that leaves the 5th spot for like Margot Robbie, Fantasia for The Color Purple, which they don't like, Greta Lee, who missed at SAG, and then Anjanae Ellis Taylor, who's a past Oscar nominee. So it's like they're aware of her, and I mean, I don't know, Cher, who, Frances Fisher,
Holland
Melanie
Taylor,
Linsky,
Sophia Bush. I love
like
Sophia Bush's post because it was a photo of her running.
is a lot of people supporting this movie in the right at the right amount, right at the right
Well,
time.
this is what they
So
did last year because
yeah,
like it's time to voting.
yeah. Just it's the same playbook. We're doing it. We're running back, and I was just like, why not? I don't know. I do think there's an. I don't think it's going to go the 5. I would be surprised if it ended up 5 obvious, and I'd also be surprised if it ends up 5 best. It just feels like that. We've been talking about that, like how it would be so rare to have the
Well,
5
you
best
could just
actresses.
have Annette Bening.
Yeah, SAG nominee Annette Bening, sure.
Yeah. Because like we know one of them is going to be swapped out for Sandra anyway. So you could just keep Annette and swap another SAG nominee out like
Right.
Harry.
I'm going off grid. I'm doing Anjanae.
I think so. The main difference, I think, between the Andrea Riseborough campaign versus this one is like it seems less focused on Ingenue, because I felt like last year it was just very focused. They were like tunnel vision, best actress. That's all that matters for Andrea. It was not about getting to Leslie a best picture nomination or writing or directing or anything. It was just all about Andrea. All like the messaging in for Origin, I feel like is a little bit more muddled. It's like a lot of praise for the movie in general, and then like of like what Ava has done as a writer and director, and for Ingenue, it's not just about best actress, Ingenue Ellis Taylor.
Right.
And then, one of like Frances's posts last week, also, she's also stumping for Coleman Domingo and Rustin. So I mean, like, you're diluting your support, girl. You need to focus. Like, so it feels like they just want Origin to be seen, but they're also not saying like, like vote for like best picture, or it was just kind of like see it and like please vote for in like all these categories. So I felt like last year was more focused with Andrea.
That's
And
true.
and then the other thing is I think last year there is much more of an underdog element to it, because To Leslie was released by Momentum, no no money, we know that. And so I think that process all started way earlier in the fall that no one knew about, right? When they were just like emailing and everything. And so whereas Origin is from Neon, home of a recent Best Picture winner. Like it's not a major studio, but it's like an A24,
Right.
and like I know Ava has been out there saying like Neon doesn't have that much money, believable, it's obviously not going to have like as much money as like Universal or Warner Brothers or something. But it's still a known studio. So I think like it's missing that kind of underdog element to it, and like Ava and Ingenue are both Oscar nominees. Ingenue very recent. And I think that was also part of the appeal to champion Andrea, because she was like underappreciated. Like one of the jokes last year was like no one knows what she looks like because she
Right.
looks different in every single movie.
Right.
So And it's like, let's get her first nomination. Like Anjani was just nominated 2 years ago for King Richard.
Well, that's kind of why I was like, I think she can actually get in now because it's like she's not like an unknown quantity.
But I think that's the difference, though. It's like that was part of why I think I felt like that was part of like the urgency for Andrea, whereas like it's a little bit different here. This one feels like it's more about like, please everyone,
See
like
this movie,
watch this movie because like the release was mishandled,
but
you know.
I and just to me, like I feel like I don't believe that there's a ton of passion for Nyad and Annette. I just don't see it.
Well, there might not be a ton of passion for Naya, but could there be a ton of passion for Annette?
But
Like the
is there though? I actually don't know. I mean, I know she got in at SAG, but I'm like, is there really a ton of passion for her?
Yeah,
You
like
think?
why not? Like she's a respected veteran, and I definitely think some people like her performance. And as we talked about, she's the president of the Actors Fund or
True.
whatever it's called, and did a lot during the strike. So, and she's campaigning, like she's done so many. You love a campaign.
I do love a campaign, but I'm loving this
But these reviews, like,
this
as-
origin campaign. I
So
love a
yeah,
grassroots campaign.
yeah, and I think like obviously they're trying to replicate it, but I don't know if like lightning will strike in the same place twice like that, and I think anyone who did not like what her Francis's team was doing last year, they might push back on this. It's like I see what you're doing now,
I,
and
I would say like I think they're gonna like it's like the joke in this reminds me a little bit of if there's a great joke in Barbie when Ken is running around in the beginning. He comes to America or whatever, Los Angeles, and he's like, I'd like a job. And he's like, and the guy's like, you can't have a job. And he's like, you guys don't do the patriarchy well. And he's like, oh, we do it well. We just hide it a lot better. And I was like, that's what this is now, I think. So I think they're like
well,
gonna
that's always just been what campaigning was like until last year. Like
now
that's
I think they're
always
back to
been like
hiding
this.
it.
Like this
I
is
think
this
they're
is
back to hiding
also
a lot better.
this is also like disrupting the whole awards ecosystem, right? Because it's always been the studios. Like that's why they did it last year for To Leslie, because Momentum had no money, so they couldn't like do all these like functions and everything, like go do all these parties and do these screenings. So they had to it had to be grassroots. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's less focused this time. That's
Yeah,
all.
I totally agree with that aspect. I think it's last year was is a small movie with a big
Yeah,
heart.
like did you read like Melanie Linsky's post? It was just like all over the place.
Just
Like
like yeah, but I'm
just
telling
like
you,
take the movie and then it's like, a couple lines about Anjani. I'm like, would I be surprised if she got in? Absolutely not, of
no.
course.
I thought she
But
was getting it at the Globes before all of this. Remember,
I
I
know
said I had her in.
you
Yeah,
predicted her at the
yeah.
Globes.
I still think that is I've been on this for like a while. I just like it just feels like in a year where there's a lot of great actresses, obviously, like Emma Stone mentioned that in her speech tonight at the Critics' Choice Awards that you didn't see, Joyce, but she was like, "Oh,
I
look at
know,
all
well,
these
I
great."
was waiting, but I was like, whoever wins Best Actress needs to name drop Anjani Ellis
She did
Taylor.
not name drop Angelina Ellis Taylor, but she did like mention how great the year is. And I'm like, even with all that, I feel like there's a like it's a great year for actors, but it feels like there's only really passion, incredible passion for Lily Gladstone and Emma Stone, and that's it. And so like there's a lot of room, I think, in the rest of the category potentially for some surprises, and I think she would be one of them, I guess.
You know what we really need? We need Kate Winslet to call Anjanu's performance the greatest one she's ever seen.
There's still a few days, right, in voting. So
We need her to do like a Zoom interview with Ingenue. That's what we need. And we need Gwyneth to do one. We need like the same people from last time to do it. So uh
uh
yeah, like I don't think it like it's like out of the question. I just
no.
think there are a lot of differences.
There
This
is it's not the same. It's not like a one-to-one.
and also like the competition is different too. Like it's last year the race was a little bit more open and like weak too.
And I guess in Margot's favor, comparing her to like Viola's movie was not nearly even close. The same zip code of a huge financial success as Barbie, which is like an
Also, 0
international.
nominations.
Yeah. So we'll see. Last email address, and then we're gonna sign up. This one's from Timothy. Frequent. I feel like a frequent commenter, at least maybe in our YouTube. Hey, you two. You're both fantastic, and I adore your thoughts. But as I do my household chores and listen to you banter about the Emmys, I cannot help but think. I feel like you should have finalized your predictions 6 months ago and not touched them. I feel you're placing the sensibilities of current times, i.e., creative arts, Golden Globes, into your predictions of what the Emmy panel, completely different panel, would have chosen 6 months ago. Different time, way different time, different buzz about the shows then. I feel it's pretty much Succession and Ted Lasso up and down the ballot. I guess we'll see what happens once the Emmys are done. And maybe I have no question, just an observation. Make fun of me or point out my brilliance if I'm correct. This
Well,
is
I
more
don't know
directed
why.
at me.
Yeah, but I don't know why we would discredit or not pay attention to creative arts because they were voted on at the same time.
True.
They were just review last week, so we should pay attention to creative arts.
We'll see. The Emmys are tomorrow, Joyce. We'll be back at this again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Can't
So
wait.
what other changes will you make?
Well, I mean, like I said, I think The Bear might be my series. I know that sounds stupid, but maybe I'll just leave it. I already went back to the Succession team for acting, so maybe I'll just do that. Leave Ted. Leave my Bears. So right now, here's what I got.
So are you gonna stick with James?
Here's what I have. I have Ted, Rachel Brosnahan for actress.
I
Switch to
still have
her.
Rachel. They should pull an Oscars and present that category last.
I got Jeremy Allen White. I have Cheryl Lee Ralph and Brett. I have the Bear for directing, Ted for writing, and then I have Succession down the ballot except for Jennifer. And
So
then
you went back for directing too.
No, I have Last of Us for directing actually, and then I have Beef all down the ballot, including directing, which I think will be Figures of Light.
Here, I'll do this now. I'll go to Cheryl and Evan.
Yes. I can't wait to see 12 hours from now who was right, or 24 hours from now, I guess. Maybe 12 if you're watching this.
Where's my forks?
You invented that, so I feel you have
I
to.
did. I invented it, and now I even if he loses, I need to go down with the ship.
You have to.
So
Joyce, we'll be back then tomorrow. We'll do a live. We're gonna be part of the live show after, and then we'll do this again to wrap up the Emmy season. Perfect time for it.
and we're more than halfway into the next Emmy cycle currently.
It's great. I love seeing the Bear winning all these season 2 awards before it's ever won an Emmy.
We haven't awarded it for season 1 yet, so
Jeremy Allen White has won 2 Critics' Choice Awards,
2 Golden
2
Globes.
Golden Globes, and only now can win an Emmy on Monday night for the first season. Yeah. That's awesome. What a stupid.
And then remember, as I said, Niecy Nash-Betts and Paul Walter Hauser can win their Emmys on the 1-year anniversary of their Critics' Choice wins for their performances in Monster and Blackbird. So it's a great time to be alive.
It's the best. All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.